In late November 1983, a warehouse on the periphery of Heathrow Airport in London was raided by a gang of armed robbers. They were actually expecting to find cash, but instead stumbled upon a huge shipment of gold bullion bars, reportedly worth at that time £26 million. And this was when £26 million, or $45 million if you prefer, was a great deal of money. Given the amount of police time and resources thrown at tracking down the culprits and the high-profile publicity generated, one might easily have expected that capture and recovery of the stolen loot was only a matter of time. Indeed, capture, albeit of less than a handful of the gang, did follow some time later. Yet 28 years on from then, not one single bar from the thousands that were stolen that day has ever been recovered. Perhaps this article, archived from the New York Times of 1983, explains why. There's a link to the original provided in the notes. The article reads as follows. It's from Reuters and dated Vienna, December 21st, 1983. Quotes, "The Austrian police announced the arrest today of 5 men and the discovery of 10 counterfeit gold bars stamped with numbers and refiners' names to match 6,000 real bars stolen in Britain last month. The police said the 5 arrested in Vienna on Tuesday night apparently planned to sell the counterfeit gold, passing it off as part of the haul of 3 tons of bullion stolen by masked gunmen from a warehouse near London's Heathrow Airport on November 26. A police spokesman said the police did not know how the men had discovered the numbers stamped on the stolen bars. The police first suspected the counterfeit bars were part of the Heathrow booty, but the spokesman said tests showed the bars were made of tungsten and only coated with gold." Unquote. Now then, I would venture to make the following observations. The police, as they so often do, proceed from an understandably jaded and biased viewpoint. They found some crooks trying to pass off some fake gold bars. That's all they need to know. The bars have tested to be fakes, so, in the police's eyes, they must have been faked by the crooks, or by cronies of the crooks. The police cannot explain how the crooks knew the numbers of the genuine stolen bars to apply them to the fakes. But so what? 5 crooks trying to sell fake gold bars were arrested, so game over and job done as far as the cops are concerned, and it's pats on the back all round and back down at the station for a cup of tea. But if we re-examine the story in the light of what we now know, it becomes clear that the bars the crooks were selling were indeed from the original robbery. The serial numbers and the maker's stamps matched because they were part of a batch stolen from Heathrow. The bars tested fake because the bullion system is riddled with fake bars that very few people in those days knew about. Certainly not these cops, and certainly not these crooks. When it all came to light, the crooks would simply have assumed they'd been conned by whoever they bought the bars from, be it the original robbers or some middleman. The bullion banks would have robustly encouraged this assumption and congratulated the police, thanking God that the scam hadn't been exposed. The cops would have had blind faith in the bullion banks and never ever questioned the possibility of their complicity in the fake bars in the banking system. The original robbers no doubt worked out the truth, but couldn't possibly have spoken out for fear of being imprisoned for a very long time for the original robbery. Finally, it would simply not have been possible to create 10 passable fakes of genuine bars with the maker's stamps, correct serial numbers, dates and fineness in less than 1 month, given no prior warning at all. Remember that the original robbers had been targeting a cash shipment. The gold had taken them completely by surprise. In fact, their getaway vehicle wasn't even capable of carrying half the gold they stumbled upon. It has to be remarked that the police, with their fixed and prejudiced outlook, did the wider world no favours that day. But this is often what one finds with police investigations. They set out with a preconceived idea of who is guilty and how it happened, and then set about finding facts to support this belief and ditching any inconvenient truths that don't fit their picture. It was a terrible wasted opportunity to nail the banksters, which might have nipped the real crooks in the bud and prevented all the banking scandals ever since. Sadly, this literally golden opportunity was missed. In conclusion, if you think about it, what we see here is only a logical horizontal expansion of fractional reserve banking. In other words, creating illusory wealth out of nothing. We should not be shocked by this practice. Rather, we should be surprised had it not arisen, given the kind of people we're dealing with in the banking system. The corollary is that, without any question, there is far less real physical gold out there in government depositories and the vaults of central banks than we have been led to believe. Where has it gone to? Has it actually gone anywhere? Did it even exist in the first place? These are questions that confound our central bankers. None of them want any investigation for fear of what might be uncovered. Far better to just muddle on and hope nothing unanswerable ever comes to light. Lastly, if you're one of these people that thinks he's being terribly clever by being invested in a gold ETF or anything else related to contracts for physical gold, you need to be aware that your underlying investment might well turn out to be one of these bars. And whether your account is allocated or unallocated won't make a blind bit of difference to the fact that your investment may well turn out to be totally worthless. This is why gold investors, if they are serious, should always insist on physical gold bullion coins buried someplace within easy reach for when it hits the fan and fiat currencies collapse. Check out the links I've provided for further details of this discussion and the points raised. The ultimate fool's gold, probably the biggest financial scam in the history of the world ever.